Hello traders and welcome back to another update. I do apologize for the absence. I've been sick lately. It's still in my voice a little bit, but I feel much better. Thanks so much for joining me for another market update today, taking a look at the markets. It is a quiet week, as in the US we are celebrating Thanksgiving, and for those of you guys who celebrate it, happy Thanksgiving to you. But for the most part, the markets have been very quiet this week as a lot of US traders are stepping out of the markets. However, we still do have some technical ideas and things to look at, so let's go ahead and dive into today's market update, looking at what we see in terms of technicals. We're taking a look here at Euro USD, and Euro USD, as we've been talking about, has headed back to a major structure low here on the 4-hour chart. You can see right around this area, we have found support in the past multiple times. We'll move this over so you guys can see this. You can see right there, we have a nice supportive level right there. We have a supportive level there, and it looks like price wants to hold this area here. However, we have seen a lot of momentum to the downside there on Euro USD, and it looks like bears are still in control of this market. Now, I do want to also point out this trend line here, which may come into play. If we do in fact see a bounce, as price does look a bit stretched, we could be headed back to test this trend line here, where we could find continued resistance. My thesis here on Euro USD, as I've mentioned in the past, has been bearish since this double top printed, and I think that we even could continue to go lower towards this area here, or at least maybe this structure level there. That is, of course, my technical analysis there on Euro USD. We'll see if we can trade lower, and ultimately what happens here. So next up is GBP USD, which we have seen on the 4-hour chart holding this kind of downward trend line for the most part, kind of choppy, just like as most markets have been. We do continue to see this range holding for GBP USD. If we do continue to respect the range, that wouldn't be out of the question to see a possible move down to this 1.2769 area. So that is one thing to consider there on GBP USD. USD JPY, very bullish recently. You can see price looks like it wants to head to test even the structure highs. Now, you have to be cautious here when it comes to breakouts and comes to big moves during holiday seasons like this, as volume is a little bit lower, and sometimes those big breakouts need those high volume pushes in order to last long. Now, you can see here on USD JPY, we have overall seen this market continue to come up and push higher even through the holidays. So it will be interesting to see again if we can break through that level. If we do break through that level, we'd have to back up to see, is there even anything relatively close? In terms of structure, you can see we are looking very bullish right now. We could be headed up to test an area like this, which is the 110.55 area. That might be something to consider. Brent crude is our next one, guys. You can see continuing to chug to the upside, very bullish. And you can see now kind of testing the upper area of this this channel. So it looks like, it wouldn't be out of the question to see a potential reversal back down to test this lower area, just in favor of a healthy trend. But who knows, when it comes to oil can be very, very volatile and can trend very strongly. So for the most part, I am still a bullish biased person on oil, just because of the fact that we have seen this nice chug to the upside there on Brent crude. WTI crude, while we're on the subject, looks very similar. You can see that same structural channel. And we may even be headed potentially back to test this area here at the 62.63 here on WTI crude. That's just a major structural level, and if we do see the continuation of this trend holding this lower band especially, that will be interesting to see if we can get a rise up to that point. XAU USD is our next one. Everybody wants to talk about gold. You can see continuing to respect this downward channel that we have seen. Now, we've seen gold sell off kind of here in the last week or so as the US dollar has gained a lot of strength. That goes in line with my thesis here on gold, which has been bearish in favor of this downward channel that we are seeing play out very nicely right now. Next up is USD CAD. You can see here we have this kind of downward channel. Now, here's the thing about this. It is in the context of a strong up move. So although we have this counter trend bearishness, if we do see the continuation of this move, it wouldn't be out of the question. We could see a breakout of this little triangle here to favor a continuation to the upside. On the contrary, we could also see a break to the downside, which could stem some counter trend moves, and even the reversal of this trend might be something to at least consider when looking at dollar Canadian. Dollar Swiss is our next one, very bullish here. As I mentioned, US dollar pairs all moving very bullish recently. We did break through recent structure highs, which is a big deal. You can see markets are just trading above that, but we also have some resistance longer term here in this general area right around the 1.002 level. Should be interesting to see if we can get a price push past those levels. GBP JPY here pulling back. Now, I do want to draw in this fib just in case we see something. This area right here, we'll draw in a shape for this. This area right here looking like potentially actually interesting pullback zone. So if we do see a pullback on GBP JPY to this 38.2, it lines up nicely with a little resistance zone, which now could potentially be support. So that's one thing to think about from the technicals on GBP JPY. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of today's video. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next time.